Alright, so it's the late 90s, you're a businessman in the United Kingdom, you want to get a business grade laptop, so you get yourself a Toshiba Tecra 540 CDT. First thing you'll notice is how thick it really is, and this is one thick laptop. This one was released around 97, 98. I'm not 100% sure. There's not too much information except for a couple of pages from the Toshiba website that I found. Alright, so this is my Tecra 540 CDT. As you can see, it's in okay condition. There's a little bit of marking here on the palm rest, which I've tried to clean out, but I'm not sure if I have the right chemicals. The keyboard is a little bit yellow. As you can see, it is a very bog standard and boring laptop design. There's nothing special going on the outside whatsoever. On the front, we've got a couple of interesting things. We've got the PC MCIA / card bus slots, the eject things. So if I pop it open, you can see pushing it that way ejects the expansion cards, so really useful. There's a little volume control knob on there. The battery sits right here at the front and is removable. These were a lithium ion battery pack, and despite this one being over 20 years old, still runs and holds a charge for about 45 minutes to an hour depending on what it's doing. So if we turn it to the other side, you can see to the left there is a slot for this proprietary type of expansion that only Toshiba sold. As far as I'm aware, there was only a 56K modem expansion that went into this slot. I haven't been able to find one on eBay, but I wouldn't mind owning one. There's also a CD-ROM drive. This particular one is just a CD reader. On the back, okay, it looks like it wants to be plugged in. We've got the DC input, which charges the battery. Obviously, we've got a parallel port, so printers and other nonsense. There is a port replicator, which is just a absolutely massive connector. We'll get to that in a bit. A microphone port, speaker port, and a line-in port. There's infrared communications, a PS2 port for keyboard and mouse, and hidden behind this last door, we've got serial and VGA output. On this side, we've got the fan, which at the moment doesn't seem to be spinning. We've got a floppy disk connector, a USB 1.1 port, a reset button, which can only be pushed with the end of a pen or a paper clip or something along those lines, the power button, which has a handy little cover to stop it from accidentally being powered on or off, and we've got two card bus or PC MCIA slots here. You can see that mine is populated by an Ethernet 10100 card. This is so I can connect it to my local network, get it onto the internet, and do things like transfer files, log into a domain, and that sort of thing. Screen wise, it's got a resolution of 1024 by 768. There is a inbuilt microphone, which sounds absolutely horrid. We've got stereo speakers at the front for all of its lovely multimedia capabilities. From the top, we've got just your standard British keyboard and a pointer style mouse, similar to what you would have found on an IBM ThinkPad in this time period. So right now, I've got Windows 95 installed, specifically the version number 4.00.950C. And the main reason for that is because of its USB capability, thanks to some drivers that I found on Nathan's Toasty Technology page. The first program in the Toshiba utilities is hardware configuration. And first thing you'll see is the BIOS version, which is version 8 from the 28th of December 1999, so just before the year 2000. I actually updated this BIOS a few months ago after I managed to get the floppy disk unit working for this laptop. Not long after I did this BIOS update, the floppy disk unit stopped working again, so I'm very lucky that it didn't fail while it was doing the BIOS update, because back then BIOS updates were super risky. If you lost power or something was wrong with the floppy disk, you could risk corrupting your entire BIOS. You can see the memory, which is 32 megs of RAM, and if you press hardware options, you actually get access to most of the BIOS settings. So it's really handy. You can change quite a few little things like the boot order. Right now I've got it floppy to hard drive to CD-ROM. So the max time manager is a little battery utility. So you can see here it's got a little icon which will represent what it's doing. So right now you can see that it is charging. However, if I were to unplug the laptop, it'll change to a little battery icon. I'll plug it back in though. So one thing I thought I'd show before I go is this bad boy. And this is the Toshiba Enhanced Port Replicator 2. So there was obviously a version before this one. It is a very, very large port replicator or docking station. It actually separates the two PS2 connectors, so you can have a keyboard and a mouse connected. What else do we have here? We've got like a MIDI/joystick port, and then we've got, interestingly enough, we've got the regular microphone speaker line in, but we've also got a line out. So I'm curious if speaker and line out are two different outputs.